Today I wanted to talk about the rapture. Pre-trib, post-trib, mid-trib, pre-wrath. There's a position for the rapture, it's covered. I mean, it's sliced and diced. God's coming back here, God's coming back there. The post-tribbers are going to be the ones to tell you that if you're pre-trib, you're weak-minded and you're not a very good Christian. You're kind of wishy-washy, and when the rapture doesn't happen, you're going to trip out and commit your life to Satan. And the pre-tribbers will say that the post-tribbers are, they're just doom and gloomers, and they I don't know, they want to suffer. I don't know. All I'm saying on this position is this: that we have pre-trib, post-trib, mid-trib, pre-wrath, and all these things, and they've been arguing for at least the last 20, 30 years, if not farther back. Who knows? I don't care how long people have been arguing. But the bottom line is this: it doesn't really matter. And we need to stop knocking one another and stop hammering one another on which position is true. And if you believe this, you're not as good as Christian as I am, or if you believe that, then I'm a better Christian than you are, and I'm going to be saved, and you're going to limp out. And what we're doing when we're doing this to each other, besides diverting attention from Christ and getting the gospel out there the way that Jesus said we should be, is we're making ourselves look stupid to the outside world. I mean, our bottom goal here is what? Our bottom goal is to save souls. So if we're distracting from that, and we're also giving a very bad image of ourselves by doing that, then maybe we ought to just lay that argument aside, and you believe what you believe, and I believe what I believe, because it's not a salvation issue here. To be fighting amongst ourselves about such a silly issue as that, and it is silly, in my opinion, because you're either right with Christ or you're not. Whether He comes to get us in a rapture, or we have to suffer through what's coming, either way, it's going to be your faith that gets you through. It's going to be Christ that gets us through. Jesus gets us through. It won't be your rapture timeline view that gets you through, or doesn't get you through. I hear a lot of people saying, I'm a warrior for God. I want to go through this. I've asked God to leave me behind. If there is a rapture, leave me behind, because I am the Terminator. I'm super Christian. Got a warrior sword right here. I'm bull, man. Jesus says this is the worst time, the worst tribulation, the worst horror that the earth has ever gone through. And that includes Noah's floods, Sodom and Gomorrah, the Roman persecution of Christians where they set them on stakes and light them on fire like a human torch. What's coming is not something that you want to go through. It's something that has to happen for us to get to the other side. But it's not something you want to go through. And I think when people are saying that, what they're doing is inflating their own ego, and they've got a high sense of self, and I need to be a prophet of God. We're mud, people. We're made of dirt. We're servants. We're nothing more than that. And to fool yourself into thinking that you're some kind of super Christian that's going to charge in and save the world and do battle with evil just says that you have work to do on your pride, because pride is interjecting itself into your Christian walk. I'm of the position: hope for the best, prepare for the worst, and trust in God. Faith, man. We need faith. So I've come down to this. I started thinking about it when I was all this arguing about the rapture got me thinking, well, what if there isn't? I was pre-trib, and I'd done a lot of studying, and I think they all got good points to make. All the rapture positions, all these eschatological positions make a lot of sense. So obviously we don't know. It's not a salvation issue. We don't need to know it. But it got me thinking, what if there is no rapture, and I've got to prepare? All the Christians, all the people of God throughout time in the Bible have always prepared. But then I got thinking, I'm able to a certain extent. We aren't rolling in dough here, but there's some things I could do. I could store some food. I could buy guns. I can get my water purifiers, the whole survival bit. I can get my family ready, maybe. Depending on how much time we got left, and I don't think we got not that much. But what about the guy that lives on welfare with his 4 kids and his wife left him, and or a single father, single mother, living on welfare, living in the heart of the city. They're lucky to have food for that day. Does God love me more than He loves them? Then why would He allow me to prepare and not them? And you could say, well, I could use what I've prepared to help these people. Well, most of the people that are preparing for survival are preparing for survival in the boondocks. You know, they're not going to be in the inner cities. And if you are, you're not going to survive very long. So these people that are stranded in the inner cities that had no way to prepare, they're jacked. So does God love me more than He loves them? No. That's one of the reasons I do believe in a pre-trib rapture. I shouldn't say believe, I lean that way. You know, God is merciful, God is just. He's not going to give unto one and not give unto the other. Right? But I could be wrong. And so I do prepare. But the bottom line is, when people talk about preparation, you realize we're living in a technological age where hiding is almost a non-issue. I mean, you got Big Brother looking down from space. You know, I've looked at Google Earth, which is really primitive compared to what the government has. There's like several technological steps way down the line. And so, but I can zoom in on my house. I can see my garage. I can see my porch swing. I could see my house. I could see my driveway. They got thermal sensing equipment that could see, you know, heat of a body, the body heat given off during the middle of the night. I mean, technologically, if they want to catch you, they're going to catch you. Okay? So no matter how hard you prepare, more than likely you're going to meet your end by guillotine or whatever method of choice, whatever execution of choice they're doing for us then. So if you're pre-trib and the rapture doesn't come, I think you pretty much got the rest of the story figured out to where you know, okay, well maybe I'm wrong in the rapture, but you're still a Christian, you're still a child of God, you're still going to understand that you got to get through this. And more than likely all of us, survivalists, pre-tribbers, post-tribbers, mid-tribbers, pre-wrathers, still got the same chore ahead of us, which means putting our head on a chopping block more than likely after enduring some severe torture. So when people say they're going to stay behind, they're going to be Christian warriors, they're going to tear it up, boy, I want to stay behind. Forget the rapture. For me, I'm about, you know, I can't judge nobody, but more than likely you live in a suburbanite home. Maybe you've gone through some mild trials and tribulations in your life. I come from the wrong side of the tracks. You know, I'm no better or worse. I'm me. But I come from the wrong side of the tracks. I've seen some things. I've had knives held to my throat. I've seen some pretty gruesome stuff, and I've lived a mild life compared to others. You know. And this stuff ain't cool. You're not super Christian. It's not like on TV, man. It's not TV. It's not the movies. It's not the books. You'll get in some situations where your heart's beating out of your chest, you can't breathe, you can't move, you're so frozen from fear, you might defecate yourself. Get real, people. You aren't going to get through this. God's going to get you through this. If you're going to get through this, you better cling not to a machete or a machine gun, but to your faith. Because you ain't going to make it, bro. Maybe 1 out of 100 got that intestinal fortitude, and unless it's been tried and tested, you don't know if you're one of them people yet. So you can talk all big and bad, but when the rubber meets the road, you might just be crying like a baby and wetting yourself. So what you really want to do, is I know I've got one around here somewhere. Hold on. This book. Read it inside and out. Pray daily. Go through the situations in your mind. And God says, don't prepare the words you're going to say, because I'll do that for you. He's going to get us through. If your faith is tight, if you're walking with the Lord, with everything you have in you, you might get through this. And when I say get through, I mean get through to the other side without taking the mark, without subjecting yourself to becoming a traitor in God's army. Don't be all big and bad and tell everybody what you're going to do for God. Just make sure that your faith's aligned right so that you can come through without taking the mark, being true to God, true to Christ. He died for us on a cross. Now it's our turn to possibly have to die for Him in whatever manner that may be. That's all I had to say today. You know, get off the pre-trib, post-trib, rapture stuff. Get your heart ready. Get your mind ready. Make friends with your brother, whether he believes in whatever astrological position he believes in. It all comes down to Jesus. And we're all members of the same army. Peace, shalom, much love. Sweet breath.